The Westmorland Way is a 95-mile journey through the scenic landscape of southeast Cumbria, from the historic town of Appleby in Westmorland to the picturesque village of Arnside on Morecombe Bay. Join Judith and myself as we pass through tranquil valleys, ancient woodlands, lakes, fells and quaint villages on our 6-day trek through this historic county. Well, welcome to part 3 of our Westmorland Way trek. We're on our 5th day, and this morning we've left the Ings campsite and we've got, I don't know, a short walk of maybe about just over a kilometre to get back on trail. We had to have a little diversion to the campsite. I'll tell you what, flipping heck, it was a chilly morning this morning. Didn't mess about. We were quick to get up and away after the warm temperatures of yesterday. Crikey, a bit of a wake-up call for us. So today we're heading from Ings, where we camped, through the southern part of the Lake District, which should be much quieter, over a nice couple of hilltops to Kendall, and then tomorrow from Kendall we're heading out along the River Kent until we pick up the Lancaster Canal, and we're going to follow that until we get to the fairy Steps and Arnside Knott for a grandstand finish before we drop down to Arnside. I'm never quite sure how to take those signs. I mean, it says beware of the bull, so what does that mean? What's that mean, Judith? Beware of it.
Don't wave a red flag.
Oh, right, okay, don't wave a red flag. All right, okay. Yeah. But yeah, what are you supposed to do? I don't know. So this is the top of School Knott. View down to Windemere, the town of Windemere. Yeah, nice little viewpoint. Oh, that wind is absolutely bitter. Crikey. Right, knocking about. Let's keep moving on. What we have seen on this walk is lots of evidence of tree planting over all the days, and they've got a project here where it's scattered all over the hillside, and they've obviously fenced them in to make sure they can't be damaged. But yeah, it's really nice, isn't it, that they're rewilding a lot of these places with planting trees. It's lovely. We've just stopped for a mid-morning break, and as we've done that, the sun's come out and we've got a lovely view, a pastoral scene. There it is, over the undulating land we've just come over. Quite a nice first section, that. Nice quiet lanes, little tracks, grassy paths, yeah, very nice. Poor sheep here are not happy. Farmers just gone through the field on his quad bike and I haven't fed them. They're kicking off. There could be a sheep riot in the field next to me. We've just stopped for lunch. Oh, those Judith pointed out, didn't really have much for lunch. A few nuts and raisins, that were about it till we get to Kendall, but we're happy.
I'd rather a pizza.
Oh dear. Never enough, is it, Judith, eh? Never enough. I'll give you nuts and raisins, what more could you want, eh? Anyway, we're having a rest anyway before we tackle a shortish, not that short, but a shortish but steep climb to the top of Scout Scar. Wow, some thick undergrowth through here. But I'll tell you what, it's nice to be in the shade, have the sun for a little bit. This is Scout Scar. It's a beautiful limestone escarpment, and we've got to work our way up it. It's going to be very steep but fairly short. Well, we've reached the top of Scout Scar. What a fantastic viewpoint it is. It's only a little hill, but what a 360. Howgills, Forest of Bowland. Well, Forest of Bowland actually is round here. I can see out to Morecombe Bay, Arnside Knott, where we're going to be finishing tomorrow. And then right round here to where we've just come from and the Lakeland Fells. Proper 360. Excellent.
Usually go off too fast, so yeah, you know, and then having to sit and wait.
Well, that was thoroughly enjoyable, that walk over Scout Scar. But now into Kendall, back into traffic, back into noise, back into food. So we're going to head down there because we're going into Kendall. We've booked bed and breakfast there tonight, so that's where we're going to stay overnight after our 2 nights, well, after our 4 nights of camping. So get a bath, get a shower, get some decent food. Day 6 on the Westmorland Way, our final day. We had a lovely overnight stay at the Lyndhurst Guest House in Kendall. Judith can only do so many nights in a tent before she has the craving for a proper bed, but it was a nice comfortable stop, and Yvonne, our host, was very charming and very personable, so thank you, Yvonne. We had a bit of a wander into Kendall last night as well. So yeah, it was a nice stop. So this morning we've left Kendall quite early and we're out along the River Kent to reach our first destination point, which is Horsebridge, a bit further on. For our final day, instead of following the River Kent for a while and cross a little bit of farmland to join the Lancaster Canal, along the Lancaster Canal, and then 2 little hills to finish off with, Fairy Steps and Arnside Knott, before we finish at the estuary down at the bottom. Lovely cool start this morning. So we'll make it, I think it's going to get warmer later on, so we're going to make the best of this cooler weather while we can. My latest group of friends, they've all said they're going to like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, haven't you boys? Maybe not. That has to be the world's wonkiest style.
Surrounded by the world's biggest stash of mouldy plastic.
Right, we've reached the canal. Bit of a nice spot down here. So that was a pleasant morning so far. Down by the river. Rather nice. And it should be a pleasant rest of the morning along the canal. We're going to stop, have a little drinks break, and then take you along the canal. Whenever I walk along canals now, I always think about the Scottish National Trail and the 50 miles of canal I had to follow on that, which they did in a couple of days. So somehow this 5 miles that we're doing on the Lancaster Canal shouldn't seem too bad. But actually something nice about canal walking, you can just, if you're on a decent path, you can just look around, you don't have to worry about where you're putting your feet, get into a nice rhythm, just enjoy your surroundings. We have arrived at home. We are by bridge 151. Sat on the bench having our lunch.
Very nice too.
Cheese sandwich. This is where we leave the canal. So after lunch we will be heading inland to the Fairy Steps. Quite enjoyed that bit along the canal. That was nice. Seen the swans. Okay, this winds me up. So pull it right away. Nothing through, electric fence running right the way along. And no track at all through the cornfield. Pull it right away. When that corn grows, how are you going to walk through that? The last stage of this walk then is to head over the Fairy Steps and Arnside Knott. And these are 2 hills that I've visited many times before, but while I've been doing a race called the Silverdale Circuit. So it's going to be nice today to be able to walk over them and be able to see the views from them and not have to be running around like a madman all the time watching where I'm putting my feet. So this is the top of the fairy steps, which are that gash in the limestone. So the idea is that you are supposed to try to climb up the fairy steps without your hands touching the side. Impossible. You have to come up there on the Silverdale Trail race, and every time I come up there I'm absolutely shattered. But yeah, it's one of those nice little local legends, I think. Fairy steps from the bottom. Yeah. Just add to the entertainment as well, usually nice and slippery if it's wet. Yeah. Now we've got a nice walk down. Heading now towards Arnside Knott. This is it then. The final climb of the walk to the top of Arnside Knott. Fortunately we're in a bit of shade, but yep, it's quite a steep last bit of hard work. We have reached the top of Arnside Knott, and just be recalling a time when we came here when Judith was 6 months pregnant, and I think we've got a picture of you with this all just surrounded by grass, no trees at all. So that was, well, it was a few years ago. It was over 32 years ago, yeah. Just heading down into Arnside and finishing the Westmorland Way. So what would I conclude about the Westmorland Way? We've done just under 100 miles. I think it's probably going to be about 97, 98. What I would say is it's really varied. If you want a trail that's going to be really varied, this is certainly one to think about. We've had some lovely walks by rivers, across to the limestone plateau on the first day was interesting. You got a taste of the mountains as we walked through the Lake District. We visited some lovely little market towns along the way. So yeah, it's got a lot to offer in terms of variety. We've also mixed it up a bit. We've mainly camped. 2 wild camps, 2 campsites, and a nice little guest house last night. So yeah, I would say if I was going to the Westmorland Way, definitely very varied. In terms of difficulty, well, it's not the Cambrian Way or the Cape Wrath Trail or anything like that. But there are some bits. It's not a national trail, so it's not way match. You've got to be able to read a map. You know, so you need some map reading skills. But not particularly challenging navigational skills at any point. Maybe a couple of bits over the Lake District if the cloud was down. You might need to be a bit careful, but if you're using GPX files on your phone or on your watch, it's pretty straightforward to navigate. I really like it. We've seen some great scenery. Flowers have been out. We've always had some lovely weather as well to enjoy. And with it not being a national trail, it's been quiet, and it just takes us to some other parts of the Lake District and Northern England that you probably wouldn't otherwise visit. So for me, that's definitely a good thing. As always, if you've got this far on this journey with us, thank you for watching. And yeah, we'll see you next time. But of course, there is only one question remaining. Judith, fish and chips or ice cream?
Fish and chips.
Yeah, fish and chips, there we go.